What's going on, guys? My name's Theoatrix, and today I'm showing the highest possible hits that you'll ever come across in Old School Runescape. I'm going to be focusing on the biggest hits in one single hit splat, so things like Chin Chompers or Ice Barrage won't be on the list despite them dealing a lot of damage. Also, things like the Dragon Claws won't be here because there's a lot of different pieces of damage, although in the future I do plan to make a video on the highest damage per second weapons. For this video, I'll be going through the most powerful weapons that players can use to hit the highest possible numbers. I'll also be going through the highest hit splats that can be hit by regular bosses and monsters, as well as the quest bosses. So starting out with the highest hitting weapons that a player can use. I'll be going in order from least to most powerful, with the highest possible hit splat you can see at the end. The first weapon hitting the lowest max hit shown in this entire video is the Anger Weapons from the Assault's Bane quest. Unlike every other weapon in the game, the Anger Weapons are not affected by your levels or your gear. You can see here I'm fighting with a negative strength bonus, and my max hits are still the same as if I was wearing a maximum strength setup. Even if I lower my stats down to 0, I'm still hitting with the same accuracy and damage compared to being boosted. So basically, the Anger Weapons roll a randomized hit between 0 and 80, with 80 being the maximum hit. In RS2, back in 2009 to 2010, it was possible to hit over 80, with max hits surpassing 150, but that was only due to an update that came out after the time of Old School RuneScape. Within a cutscene in the current quest, there is a higher hit splat shown, but I'll show that in the quest section towards the end of the video. The next highest hitting weapon after the 80 is the Heavy Ballista, which requires 75 range and Monkey Madness 2 to wear. The Ballista has the highest possible ranged attack and range strength bonus in the game. The special attack of the Heavy Ballista adds 25% damage and accuracy to your next shot, consuming 65% of the spec. In a PvP situation, the Heavy Ballista has a maximum hit of 76 using the special attack and 61 normally. When slaying and using the damage boost of the Slayer helmet, you can hit up to 78 with the spec and 63 normally. Against undead monsters, you can hit 90 with the spec while using Elite Void, a Ranging Pot, Rigor, and the Imbued Salve Amulet. In the Chambers of Derrick, you can use Overload Plus potions, which give the highest possible boost in the game, where Overload Plus potions boost you by 16%, then add 6, letting you reach 121 with 99 in a combat stat, whereas Super Combat potions, as well as Nightmare Zone overloads, give 15% plus 5, with a maximum of 118 boosted. Combining Overload Plus potions with Elite Void and the Salve Amulet, you can hit up to 95 with the spec and 76 normally. The next weapon is the Armadillo God Sword. The Armadillo God Sword has a special attack that deals 37.5% more damage for one hit splat, making an extremely popular KO weapon for PKing. Within a PK situation, the max hit you can do with a Super Combat potion is 83 using the spec or 61 with a regular hit. Super Combats boost your strength level to 118, but it is possible to boost to 120 in PvP. This is done using the Dragon Battle Axe special attack, which boosts your strength level by your drained stats. So by boosting your other stats and then letting them drain from the spec, your strength level goes higher than it can with Super Combats, all the way to 120. With 120 strength, the highest possible hit with an AGS is 85 in PvP. When slaying, you can hit up to 96 with the special attack. With an Enchanted Salve Amulet, you can also hit a max of 96, but adding Overload Plus potions into that mix lets you hit up to 98. The next most powerful weapon usable by a player is Enchanted Ruby Bolts. The special effect of Ruby Bolts is called Blood Forfeit, and it takes 20% of the health off your enemy while taking 10% off you, which is insane on bosses with a lot of health. For example, the Corporal Beast has 2,000 hit points. 20% of 2,000 is 400. Well, because of that massive amount of power, the damage from this attack is capped at 100. So this means against bosses with at least 500 health, you'll be able to hit the maximum hit of 100. Next is the Twisted Bow, the most expensive weapon in the game, more expensive than the Third Age Longsword and the Scythe. It has a special effect on every single attack, where its damage and accuracy scale to the enemy's magic level. So if they have a really high magic level, like Commander Ziliana or a lot of the raids bosses, you can hit super high, except there are a lot of damage caps for the Twisted Bow. For example, when fighting Zulrah, the maximum mathematical hit is 86 with the best gear, and while being on a task. However, any hit that you hit over a 50 on Zulrah re-rolls to a number between 45 and 50, so that makes the max hit with a T-bow at Zulrah 50. On Commander Ziliana, the Saradomin boss, since she has a magic level of 300, it's possible to hit up to 83 with the T-bow off task and 86 on a Slayer task. This is the same max hit for Jad or even Zuck in the Inferno because the Twisted Bow caps at a level of 250 magic for the boss monster you're fighting. Within the chambers of Derrick though, the magic level caps at 350, allowing the max hit to scale even higher, to a maximum of 111 damage when using the Salve Amulet imbued, or even higher 119 if you add Overload Plus potions into the equation. Well, along with the magic level cap, the Twisted Bow has a damage cap inside the chambers of Derrick. Any hit that you do over 100 will be re-rolled to a number between 94 and 99. That makes the maximum hit for the Twisted Bow 99 damage, although it does mathematically go higher. The next weapon is the Gaia Hammer, which can be used after the In Aid of Myrick quest. The Gaia Hammer has the same animation and 3-second attack speed of the Granite Maul, however it provides a 25% damage boost against Shades, which are also undead monsters, so this can be stacked with the Salve Amulet for a 45% damage boost every single hit. This makes the maximum regular swing in maximum gear a 52. Well, along with that massive boost, there's a 1 in 20 chance or a 5% chance of hitting double the amount, only when fighting Shades. So this moves the maximum hit from 52 to 104. The chance of lining up that 5% double hit with a maximum hit of 52, and with the chance of even hitting a number in the first place, comes out to about a 0.066% chance of hitting a 104, which is about a 1 in 1800 chance of happening. Next is one that you've probably guessed to be on this list, and it is Derrick's, which is a very popular PK set for main accounts for the insane set effect. The full set effect is a 1% increase in damage for every hit point that you've lost. So this works best with 99 hit points, since if you're 1 hit point, you've lost 98, giving you 98% more damage. Also, the Derrick's Great Axe has a massive strength bonus in itself, allowing you to hit huge already. The max hit in PvP with a super combat potion is 102 damage, which is more than the maximum hit points level of a person. Well, you can boost your strength level to 120 as I mentioned earlier, boosting your max hit to 104. With the Salve Amulet, you can hit up to 118 damage. Now for the most powerful or highest hitting weapon in the game, higher than the 118 done by Derrick, and the damage comes from the Charis, rewarded after the Contact quest. The Charis has a special effect similar to the Gaia Hammer, but this time it works against Calphites and Scaberites. The dagger has a 33% damage boost against these monsters, plus a 1 in 51 chance of hitting triple the amount of damage. Normally, without the triple damage, the maximum hit with the Charis is 51 off task and 58 on task with the Slayer helmet. Tripling that, you get 153 as a max hit off task and 174 on task. This has a much rarer chance of happening than the Gaia Hammer though. There's around a 0.013% chance of hitting the max hit of 174, so about 5 times as rare as the Gaia Hammer. A lot of people believe that the max hit was around 120 with the Charis, since the max hit on the combat dummy is 43. Well, the combat dummy does not count as a Calphite, and nor does it count as a Shade, so the Gaia Hammer does not show its true max hit or the Charis. So that's all of the weapons, with the top 3 being the Gaia Hammer, Derrick's, then the Charis. Moving on to some even higher hit splats which come from PvM bosses within Old School. Firstly, Jad, one of the most dreaded challenges for new players, is capable of hitting up to 97 damage with any of his attacks. The highest level monster in the game, with a combat level of 1520, is Verzik, which is fought last in the Theater of Blood. Verzik has a maximum hit of 104, only on her first phase. The next highest hitting boss is the Jads within the Inferno, and instead of the regular level 702 Jads in the fight caves, these Jads have more stats and more hit points, giving them a combat level of 900. Their max hit within the Inferno is 131, more health than a player is capable of boosting to. The highest hitting PvM boss in the game is also within the Inferno, and the monster with a maximum hit of 251 is Zuck. The final boss of the Inferno can be avoided the entire kill provided the player stays behind the moving rock. If you make a mistake, there's over a 50% chance of getting one shot even if you have the maximum possible hit points. Now moving into the quest bosses section of the video, and these have even higher hits than the PvM bosses. And a quick warning, there are some quest spoilers in this part of the video. During the Wanted quest, there's a scene where Soulless Delagar is cornered by 15 rangers. In that scene, he deals 70 damage to every single one of them, totaling 1050 damage. I did say earlier I wouldn't include things like Ice Barrage, but hitting 70 per barrage on 15 different monsters is massive. Next is the Soulsbane quest, which I spoke about earlier with the anger weapons, but during that same room of the quest, as soon as you reach 100% on the rage bar, your player unleashes a special attack which deals 200 to all of the monsters around you, and that makes it the third highest hit splat that you'll ever see in Old School Runescape. Second on the list is a cutscene during the Swan Song quest. In the final fight with the Sea Troll Queen, the Wise Old Man is attacked with a huge water surge, dealing a huge hit of 254. Afterwards, you have to fight the Sea Troll Queen yourself, without the help of the Wise Old Man, but the queen that you fight only has a max hit of 37, much weaker than the damage done to the Wise Old Man. The highest hit splat in the game comes up during the Dragon Slayer 2 quest, in the final boss fight versus Galvek. After dealing your final blow, a Dragonfire shot comes out of him flying over to Zorgoth, dealing 1500 damage in one single hit splat, the biggest out of any quest, monster, or cutscene in the game. I'd like to give a massive thank you to Slayer Music for allowing me to use some of his footage for the quest scenes, and a massive thank you to Colonello, the Monterey, 99 Grinding, and Xpreme for their help recording some of the footage of the max hits. Slayer Music and Colonello both have YouTube channels, and if you haven't subscribed to either of them, be sure to for some awesome old school videos. If you enjoyed today's video, be sure to drop a like and subscribe to my channel if you're new around here. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.